Alright, in this video I am going to cover up setting up our Active Directory lab environment. So first we go ahead and go to the NetLab 4 and then we log in. I've already got a lab reservation, but you would just go in, do a lab reservation, general, the ITSC1305, and then Active Directory lab. Alright, but since I've already got that, I'm going to go in. Okay, so I'm in the lab and we've got a server and two workstations, two PCs. We're going to use the following IP address schema within this lab, and hopefully they've got this set up. I was looking at it and I'm not quite sure this is actually networked, but we will try and see that out in this video. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to configure our server, because right now nothing's configured, they're just installed. So we're going to log on to our server. Actually, we're just going to sign out. This is how it'll appear, right? So you'll come in here and you'll have to send the Control-Alt-Delete to the server. So send Control-Alt-Delete. Now you can log in. Password is our password. Alright, so server comes up and the server manager window comes up, and that's what we want it to do. We want to go ahead and we want to add roles and features to our server. We're going to go ahead and use the wizard because it'll make it easier. So we'll just go ahead and hit next. We are doing a role-based or feature-based install, right? So we're not doing a remote desktop service installation or VDI. We're doing the role-based features. We're going to add Active Directory to this, among other things. We're going to select the server from the pool. We want our server with the address of 10.10.10.10 and the AD-DC. Right, so this is Active Directory Domain Controller. That's what we want to make this machine. So we hit next. So what we need to do is the Active Directory Domain Services. We want to check that, right? And the following tools are required to manage this feature, but do not have to be installed on the same server, right? But we do administrators, snap-in controls, right? Include the management tools if applicable. And so we just want to go ahead and add those features. Let's see here. Let's make sure. What other attributes do we have? We don't need certificate services, federating services. That's if we're connecting to somebody else's Active Directory outside of ours. Lightweight directory services, we just need the full-blown version. It's management, DHCP server and DNS server. We definitely need a DNS server. And I'm thinking well, we'll see. We can always add the DHCP server, but we'll see. I don't want to get it too complicated, but we definitely need the DNS server. All right, and then for now, we'll just go next. All right, next. Alright, Active Directory server stores information about users, computers, and devices. That's what we want. Okay, we don't need Azure directory. DNS servers, that's, provides us name to IP and IP to name resolution, which we definitely want that. And restart the computer if you want to automatically restart, and then we want to install. So this will install Active Directory and DNS on this server, which we definitely want. And then once this is installed, we'll configure at least our look at our server and the domain. So we'll have to add in some information here for our domain. And you put much thought into, so just wanted to validate this environment did work. But so we'll create the domain of probably ITSC1305. That should be a good domain for this. And alright. Configuration required, installation succeeded. Okay. Alright. So now we need to configure the server, right? Alright. So here we go. Alright, configuration required for Active Directory, domain services, and ADOT, right? So we'll go to more, promote this server to a domain controller, right? So when it's done, go to AD Active Directories, domain services, and then configure requirements, do more, and then promote this server to a domain controller. Alright, so we're not adding to an existing, we want add a new forest, and then the root domain name will be ITSC1305. Do next. Forest name failed as proposed. DNA's domain consists of single layer. This is fully okay. All right, so we need a fully qualified, so we're going to do .local. So ITSC1305.local. Normally you would have your domain name, like google.com or apple.com or whatever, right? A single label separated by a period followed by a top level domain example. Okay, so it was just from the last error. So so we went. So we want our functioning levels fine. We want the global catalog. We want the DNS on here, and our directory services restore password in case we have issues is password. All right. Delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the authoritative parent zone cannot be found. Right. Should manually create a delegation to this DNS server in the parent zone. Ensure a reliable name. Otherwise, no action is required. Alright, so we'll just go next. Verify the NetBIOS domain name assigned to the domain and change if necessary. Okay, good. I was going to say, should show up with ITSC1305. Alright. Alright, we're going to leave the defaults. This is where some of the more critical files for an Active Directory are stored. And since we really only have the one drive, is fine, and the defaults are fine. Alright, so we're going to create all this. Go next. Okay, and then right, these are just okay. All prerequisites passed. Right, these are just some warnings. Right, mainly we don't have internet connection, so we can't go out and DNS and can't get our delegation. So this is fine. Okay, so now it's actually creating the Active Directory partitions and objects. So we're almost there. Securing our domain controller. Configuring DNS for this domain. Oh, let's see here. It must be restarting. Okay. Okay, it finally restarted. It takes quite a while here in this lab environment for the restart. So I'm going to send our Control-Alt-Delete. Now it looks like I'm still logging in locally. Oh, wait, no, I was in the domain. Never mind. Right, because that was the name of the domain, not computer. So, all right. So it looks like we're in the domain. Let's see. It looks like we got green, right? So let's do tools, Active Directory, users and computers. And so we have our Active Directory. So our ITSC1305.local is our domain name. We have all kinds of built-in organizational units. That's what these are called. We've got users, and all these built-in users already in the domain. But one of the things that we really should do is go ahead and create a new organizational unit, and we're going to call this class. We'll just call it class, and then we'll create a new folder within that, and we'll say groups, and then we'll create another one, organizational unit, called users, and then we'll create, I think that's fine. So a lot of times you might have a building, you might have a function like accounting or HR or sales. These organizational units are used to just break up and manage your domain. These are the defaults. While they're good, they're not easily used to manage, and split up the domain as well. So creating your own organizational units outside of the built-ins is a good idea. But right now we've got an administrator. He's the domain admin for this domain. So if we click on him or her, right, so we got member, right, so they're a member of the domain admins, the enterprise admins, schema admins. So we can administer this domain, Active Directory, and all of its functions using this one account. So what we probably want to do, though, is just right click, create a new, and then user, and we're going to call it Bob Smith, and his login name is going to be Bob. It's a bad login name, but it's good for our purposes because we're not going to have that many people, right? Password is password. Uncheck that user must change password, and we can leave everything else fine. Say next, finish. Oh geez, all right, we're gonna have to have complex passwords. Okay. So let's do capital P at SSW0RD01. So capital P, the @ sign, SSW0RD01. So let's try this again. Capital P, the @ sign, SSW0RD01. Capital P at SSW0RD01. Let's see if that will meet our complexity requirements. Okay, so we did. So let's just do Notepad. I'm going to pin that to the taskbar. Our password for Bob is capital P at SSW0RD01. Alright, file save as Bob. And we'll put this on our desktop just in case. Alright, so we got Bob. So we need, right now he's a domain user, and we're going to add Bob. So in the member of, we're going to add advanced and find now, and we want domain admins right here. So we double click and we say OK. So Bob is now a domain admin. Alright, so we're done here with the server, and we'll go over this a little bit more, but for this video that's all we're doing here is installing Active Directory, DNS, and creating a user named Bob and make him a domain admin. Alright, we'll see you in the next video.